Hello and welcome to Connecting Chats. Today we're going to be talking with Steve Barbé. Steve is a singer-songwriter that has been working as a community musician for over 20 years. I really hope you enjoy and please remember to subscribe. Cool, so we're live. Welcome to Connecting
Hey,
Chats, Steve
thank
Barbé.
you.
I, I,
Thanks for
I,
having me.
I love that your name has an accent that is hard to find on English keyboards. I have similar problems writing Portuguese.
Ah, yes. I'm used to being called Steve Barb. It's okay.
Okay, so Stephen Barb or Barbe?
Barb, yeah, Barbe's better if you can say it's Barb.
Where does that name come from then? Do you
It
have
is,
French?
yes, it is French. My father's side.
Ah, okay.
Up to I think my grandfather it was that came to Guernsey. So I'm from Guernsey originally. There's
All right.
a lot of names in Guernsey are French and place names.
That's cool. So we started already with normally what we do in connecting chats and talking about your background and how you got into music, study music and all your, formal education, informal education. Tell us all about you, Steve.
Yeah, well, as far as music is concerned, it's mostly informal.
Yeah,
Uh,
okay.
Yeah, no great plan ever to get involved with community music. It's by fortunate accident, really. I'm
But
really
did you
glad.
do music in school? No, you didn't do music in school.
Yeah, oh yeah, I did music in school, but not, I mean, up to O level, and that was it. And
Okay.
I struggled a little bit with O level because of the written, it was a lot of it was about notation.
Hmm.
I was a very slow reader at learning to read and speak spoken language. Um, then it wasn't until I was about 9 that I started to try and grapple with notation for music. And by then it was like, yeah, I never really learned to do it fluently. I can work out a score, a one-line score at home slowly in my own time,
Yeah.
whereas really I can
With
read.
no like band waiting for you to with the pressure.
Yeah, lucky I've got a reasonable ear,
Yeah.
musical, picking things up. So yeah.
Cool.
Um,
So what does that like when you say so when you say like oh it was not formal? Tell me about the informal stuff then.
yes, well, right from apparently from 2 years old, I used to sing to my baby brother. This is reported. I don't remember,
All
but
right.
sing in tune anyway. Um, so it was evident I had some sort of innate ability. Fairly musical family, but mainly church music and classical music. Uh, Exposed to that, and then from my elder sister's pop music, and then junior choirs, things like that, in school and out of school. Um, Out of school, one a sort of folky repertoire. That was at age about 9 or 10, and we entered local Eisteddfods. I know that's a Welsh thing, but we had them in Guernsey too. Um, then I joined the Boys Brigade and learnt to play a fairly short military wooden flute.
All right.
Not a fife, I don't think. I understand a fife hasn't got all the sharps and flats. I'm not absolutely sure about that,
I'm
but
not
the
sure. Yeah.
Scottish military flute. And I transferred a little few years later to the full silver, the orchestral silver flute.
Yeah.
I got up to grade 5 with that. That's about the highest level formal.
Oh, you have some formal
That,
education there then.
that
Great
wasn't
five.
that was until I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
And I can, I use it. It's a sort of a side thing, an auxiliary thing. I can play a few tunes
Yeah.
um, and improvise a little bit in simple ways, sort of blues scale and things like that. Uh, but mainly singing, and so I got into bands in my teens. Um, yeah, I didn't pick up the guitar till much later. Uh, I was I thought I saw myself as leading a band as a rock singer.
Yeah.
My image of myself. Looking backwards, I could have made better choices, I think, but I had some good times. I think it was partly music that got in the way of my A levels, but To be honest with you, I think I was getting a bit tired of school anyway. When I was 19, I didn't do music at A levels. I did sciences.
Okay.
Get fantastic grades, not well enough to get into the course that I wanted to at university. I wanted to do food science. I was interested in food. So I postponed my university career and thought, well, if music has sort of distracted me partly, I might as well try music. I'm already in bands, so pursued that in Guernsey a bit and played some local gigs. Some of them paid. Well, I've got as far as I can now. I feel I'm a big fish in a small pond now. I need to move to London to complete my mission. If I'd waited a few, just a year or two later, then actually there were more opportunities on the island as far as recording was concerned, because home recording had just started to come in and fairly affordable studios. But no, I was in a hurry. So came to London, got into bands, started playing gigs, got a tour in Canada for a few months. It was
All
really
right.
came back, was on the verge of a record deal. The company, a small independent called Eagle Records, changed its A&R person at the very last minute, and so we were left a bit high and dry. By then I was in sort of approaching mid-20s. I thought I'd better go back to college, so I did sciences. I did environmental science.
Amazing. Yeah, because I saw you mix some of that with your workshop leading, don't you?
Yeah. Where did you see that? Did you also done a bit of
Oh, I've been researching you, Steve. I've been researching you.
yeah. I try and make it a bit of my shtick.
Yeah.
I spent a number of years studying environmental science and being involved in campaigning and local action and things like that. So, yeah, I try and make sustainability part of my yeah
Yeah.
yeah. So I used a lot of junk for junk percussion music workshops, more just playing directly on the junk rather than making anything.
Yeah, yeah.
But I have worked in teams that do a little bit more craft with junk.
Yeah, so going from one bit to the other. So how did you get into community music and making music with other people and focusing on people's creativity, working in group and all this
Yeah,
stuff? How did
yeah.
that?
It was a long process and ending up in an
Yeah.
accident. After leaving university, I thought I was going to be a scientist, but I'm not particularly great practically in the lab or in the field. And again, I was sort of thinking, I've got my degree, but what am I going to do with it? It wasn't a specialist enough degree to become a scientist either. It was modular and I was able to choose a lot of different things, but it wasn't something that could take me further up to a master's. So I thought, well, I had a year, I thought maybe I'll go into education. But I decided that too late. But I had an auntie who was a Quaker, and she got me in touch with a Quaker school. So I became what was called a resident graduate assistant.
Ah,
And my thing was, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll teach Afro-Caribbean drumming. I knew nothing about Afro-Caribbean drumming. I'd done a little bit of playing around, but I thought, oh, I can do it. They're kids. Oh, and so I joined the team. They called it the senior common room. It was quite posh. I ran a few other extracurricular activities. I worked in the library and things like that. But we ordered some small drums that came in boxes. As it turned out, the boxes had more sound value than the drums themselves. Maybe that's how I got into junk drumming, I don't know, but the drums weren't really up to much. And I didn't know anything about really drumming. There was a music teacher who taught me a few tricks. So I led a few sessions with that, but I got more involved with other things, and music became not so much a thing there. But in the long run, I did actually more seriously look at hand drumming. I did try education. I went to the London Institute to study primary education, but at the end of that, I wasn't left feeling that I wanted to be a formal class teacher either. Again, I was left a bit, what am I going to do? So I got involved with a few local community projects, including a local wildlife garden centre called the London It was called the London Wildlife Garden Centre at the time. It was run by the London Wildlife Trust.
Yeah.
And I got involved in activities there, running storytelling workshops and things like that on a voluntary basis mainly. I'd also become a childminder just to sort of fill in because I couldn't think what else I was going to do. I'd had that sort of training, a little bit of training with kids, and knew a little bit about child psychology and whatnot. And I thought, I may as well put the little that I've learned to some sort of use while I'm going to make up my mind what to do next. Luckily, a woman called Harriet Einsiedel, who was involved like me as a volunteer through that garden centre, suggested that we could get together and get a package of educational material together to present in schools. And this was in the mid-90s by then. It was hugely ambitious what we were trying to do. We were trying to get together a workshop package on each major world region, the two of us, having African music package, South American music package, and Antarctica. No, that's a joke. We didn't do that. So hugely ambitious. We got maybe a couple of gigs on that basis.
Okay.
We would go in and tell stories and make music with the kids. One was in a library, one or two others. One was at a hospital school. It was Guy's Hospital, Guy's Evelina School, one or two of those. They went okay. Through that, a woman called Margaret Mumford got to hear about us, and she ran a charity called Pod. She may still do, I don't know, which puts freelancers who provide entertainment, not just music, but any entertainment, into children's wards, children's hospitals, hospital schools and children's wards. We began to get regular work that way. You call it community music, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely.
Music by then, neither of us had. So it was partly through that, but also I'd through Cool Tan Arts, which was an artist sort of squat, slightly anarchic squat. That it was called Cool Tan because they occupied an old factory that used to make sun cream. And, I went to drum workshops there, led by various people from Gwange from the Caribbean and Henri Galbi from the Ivory Coast. So I got a djembe. So that was sort of another thing under my belt. I began to occasionally run the group myself when the teacher wasn't there. I ran workshops myself. So that was another sort of thing. I began to learn a bit about percussion and rhythm, and now as that was put together, that was incorporated into the sort of pod type activities a little bit.
Oh, right, okay.
So it all kind of came together a bit that way. Oh yeah, I'd already learnt guitar by then. That was something I'd missed out. While I was at that, spending that a year at that Quaker school. It was in near Bristol actually. It was Sidcot, a little village. I had a lot of time in my hands, and I taught myself to play the guitar because I was very lucky. All of my meals were provided. I was a resident there, and I had a lot of space. The dining hall was empty a lot of the time, and I was able to play the guitar in this beautiful space. And I began to write a few songs. As soon as I learned to play a few chords, I was writing songs and learning to play other songs as well. So that was something else I was able to do in schools and things with Pod. And I used the flute as well. Then I thought, while I was doing one of these particular Pod activities in a hospital school, somebody said to me, "Are you from Music in Hospitals?" No, I didn't even know about music in hospital. I didn't know there was such a thing. It was called the Council for Music in Hospitals in those days.
All right.
So I thought, oh, I better look at them. And found out this was before the internet. It was not easy to find them.
Yeah.
Well, no,
It's not like music in hospitals. Google, yeah, boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
this is before I could use the internet. The internet probably existed.
All right.
So I had to search for it the long way, and eventually applied to them as well. And I had a band by then that I could apply for. So this wasn't for children's music as such. There's a lot of things I've skipped over, but I was a member of a local exchange trading system called Let's, which is using a local currency as an alternative to sterling to trade services locally, exchange. And I got a band together that way because I was asked to run an event. a Let's event, and I didn't have a band. I managed to curate a few other bands and artists for that event, but also I sort of scratched together with a few friends from Let's. We called ourselves Let's Swing. Bit corny, but it was Let's, you see.
Yeah.
It developed from that. It was swing music, Ellington and Gershwin and things. It's really nice. I'd never done that before, but the people who I was involved with liked that sort of thing, and so maybe that would be good for other more adult people, and particularly people at the older end of the spectrum.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Reminiscence type work. So got involved with music in hospitals too. So by then I was working for PARD. I was working for music in hospitals. Then I thought, well, maybe I'm a music therapist. Maybe that's what I'm called. And I looked at that and realised that I wasn't. But through going to a few meetings at the Northrop Robbins Centre, seminars and the like, I met Anita Holford, who was involved with Sound Sense, and she advised me that no, I'm not a music therapist. No way I could call myself that. You needed the qualification, but perhaps I was a community musician, and I joined Sound Sense, and through that I started to get more work, and not just that. I was also just going to local festivals and found another organisation called Child and Sound, who were also working, and they put freelancers in nurseries and things like that, and with special needs groups. So then I had 3 organisations I was working for, and then through Sound Sense, I began to apply to other jobs that I saw. This was not by the internet. I was still doing it. I was still receiving the publication by mail and writing handwritten letters. I found it today, actually. One of the jobs was the Environment Agency. Somebody called Jan Hurst this was just before the millennium, before 2000.
Okay.
Looking to get some community scrap bands together. The idea would be to promote the use of scrap materials from local businesses, donated to scrap stores, community scrap schemes. There were still a few left, not as many as there were. So it was surplus materials, sometimes multiple things, but sometimes just one-offs, bits of old machinery and things, some of these stores.
Amazing.
It was, to use them with youth groups and then present them at the Thames Millennium Festival. So
that's exciting.
Working with would come to the South Bank and perform as one band.
Yeah.
From that, there was as a legacy, there was a little bit of money left after that. So they paid for my workshops and the performance, but there was a little bit of money left over. And she said, with that little bit left over, you can carry that project on with youth groups around. I can put you in touch with a few. Once that money had run out, I had that experience, and then I started to apply for small bits of other funding and just apply as a freelancer with my own junk to people who wanted similar things at other local festivals and things like that. So that was another string to my bow.
Amazing. Like I can see already there's so many, isn't it? And I love how you said about the internet thing, because it really, and also the fact that you didn't know how to classify your work, right? Which is still happening. And like, trust me, like lots of people are still thinking like what like when we try to explain what we do to people, like okay, so you're a teacher? No. So you're a music therapist? No.
Yeah.
Are you like, tell me what are you? You know, like, and but this your trajectory, like you kind of learn the job and learn what, you know, the job title at the same time, right?
That's right.
That's brilliant.
Well, a lot of people would be community musicians if they knew that that's what they were. They
Yeah, exactly. If they know there's an option, right?
Yeah, and often if you're trying to fill in a form, there isn't a field for community music often.
No, there isn't. Yeah.
Fit is a music teacher or somebody, or participatory artist.
Yeah.
Stay down, say hello to Chris, stay down, say hello to Yana, stay down, say hello to Steve, everybody. Say hello to everybody, stay down, stay long, stay down, stay in the morning.
thing that I saw as well in your website, I actually took a photo to read back to you because I love this because it's like um, I want to talk to you about Roy Wells' collage of music, but I saw this like this is about music facilitation, music workshops, community music, participatory music, sing songs, reminiscence, early years music and movement, and storytelling, tutoring, teaching. Like the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to talk to him about this because this is like such a like like you can't explain in a few words. You need more than one line, right?
This is, I think I expanded all those different descriptors after attending a workshop about how to make your website findable by using text.
All right. Yeah.
I think that's how that came about.
The
But it's
hashtags,
true.
right? It's
It
like
is true.
hashtag music,
Yeah,
hashtag
yeah.
workshop leading, hashtag. No, but yeah, I saw that all your work that with education in health and care systems, in hospitals, choir with for people with Parkinson's, and all like very interesting stuff, and community scrap bands. But I was very curious to ask you about Roy Wells' collage of music. I love the idea of the collage of music. I think all the colleges
Yeah.
should be that. Should be college slash collage.
I think I was playing with an idea. It's a kind of concept that I haven't often gone for major funding, and I'm not a project, I'm a freelancer.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's fun times. I thought it would be fun to pretend that I was a project, um, to go under the guise of being a project, and some grand title like that. And the idea, like Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, I suppose, they're now a big concept album, so
Yeah,
somebody with huge ambition and
yeah. But basically, it was just all your work in one place, wasn't it? Like that's where I
yeah,
got the idea from. Yeah.
yeah. The idea was somebody who had, I wouldn't say delusions, but it's sort of a parody of myself, that I have got these fantastic illusions that I make my own music, and I'm just, I don't know, the front of my CD, there's a picture of me sort of conducting this stellar orchestra with all these instruments flying through space. And on the reverse, there's me in front of my garden shed. And actually, that is the reality. Actually, I don't even have a garden shed.
All right.
That would be, if I had a garden shed, that's where my studio would be. Yeah.
Yeah, but also that shows like how how the to get. I think it's getting much better like nowadays, but probably was hard a little few years ago on how to find work, right? Because of all the like, oh, can you do this? Oh yeah, I can do this as well. But like, oh, but you didn't say you had. Oh, but you didn't ask. Like it kind of becomes a you need to have a first dialogue in order to be able to get the right job, almost, isn't it? Like one job description doesn't involve
Yeah,
everything you do, right?
that's right. That's why I like the collage. And you might have spotted that, the Roy Wells collage of music. If you say it quick enough, it sounds a little bit like Royal College of Music.
Yeah, no, definitely.
The RWC is the Royal Welsh College. It's all like confusion. So it's kind of, the idea is sort of by association, subconscious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This must be official.
Yes, that's right.
I love that. I even had a look at correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the Newt's letter. Is that it?
Oh, the Newt's letter. Yeah, that's right. That came out of an environmental pop video that I made, called Two in a Hole. It was about the plight of our freshwater systems. This is my environmental side coming in
Environmental
as
stuff,
well.
yeah.
Yeah. So I produced the pop video, and so the Newts are another amphibian, you see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was kind of like, the concept was I'd make a DVD, not just a pop DVD, but DVD package. So there was the pop video. There was also the making of the pop video. Narrated. I haven't even finished it yet. I'm going to go back and try and finish that package.
That's brilliant.
But the newsletter was like an adjunct to that, the newsletter. Yeah, and that was, it was very time consuming now. I did it for several years. I've got a few here. It's, it was great fun making them.
Oh wow, you printed it. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, they're zines, I suppose. Again, it's another
Yeah,
word
yeah.
I realised. They're kind of like zines.
Just sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah.
I'm very curious to know at least a few examples. I know the scrap working, sorry, with the percussion, using you know, scrap stuff, scrap bands you call it, and I wanted to know a little bit more about this connection with. I saw that you have like biology, ecology in your and food science and everything. Did you do anything music with everything as well? Did you manage to do a few workshops using everything, or was always a little bit separate?
I suppose you've yet to succeed in trying to integrate
Okay, yeah,
this together. I'll probably have to set up my own project to do that because it's. Um, no, the furthest I've got so far is with these junk percussion workshops. Sometimes they're open air events which have an environmental theme,
yeah, I see, yeah,
fairs and things like that.
yeah, of course,
There's all sorts of other activities going in,
yeah.
and waste awareness events and things like that.
Oh,
And
definitely.
also, at work in schools as well, they might have an environmental theme. Yeah, that's as kind of far as if it's gone so far.
Okay, no, cool. I was curious to know about like, you know, food and there's even that orchestra where the guys playing a carrot or something.
They amuse me. Some of those. Some of those. I think some of them they're using them like kazoos. They're just humming into the. Humming into it. It's cheating, but no, it's good fun. Yeah, but some of them they are actual instruments. These.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, yeah.
And they make a soup afterwards after the show. They make a soup out of all the.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, I hope they washed them well. I bet they're covered in.
Yeah. Yeah, like the French horn, right? Um, cool. So we're like, I can't believe it, but we're kind of almost about to finish our connecting chat. So there's this moment. I don't know if you've seen other connecting chats, but there is a moment here that inspired by a trip I did to Gambia in Africa. They used to tell us like, feel free, you know, when playing the drums and everything. So this is a moment where I ask my guests to feel free. Is a feel free moment, and you can complain about someone that didn't return your call. You can compliment a band you just heard. Give a tip on a series you're watching. You can do anything, and just say like tips for new community musicians, people writing their own CV, whatever, like anything you like to tell us. This is your moments of freedom.
Yeah, well, I take whatever opportunities you can to get some experience, even if you don't get paid, or even if you're a participant, even if you have to pay, if you can afford it to attend. And when you said Gambia, that was another thing. I missed out all my foreign trips done for my own CPD, and I went twice to the Gambia.
Oh, right, yeah.
Local musicians and played in schools. I went to Brazil too with Samba Challenge and worked with Circo Piccolino, a small community circus, and
Ah, in Salvador.
Salvador Bahia, yeah.
Oh, you probably know a friend of mine, Andre, sax player.
Oh, maybe, but it was only for a week.
Yeah, yeah.
I got the T-shirt. And did Cuba, Salsa Challenge Cuba as well. Is it upside down?
Yeah, that's like that.
Salsa Challenge Cuba with Drake Music Project. This was with the ABC, the Action for Brazilian Children Trust. That was another thing where the idea would be people fundraise and go out and pay for the experience. I just paid. I didn't fundraise. I just paid it out of my own pocket because I thought it'd just be easier, and it was good investment. And I went to Romania as well with Musica in Romania. Worked in an orphanage to get experience because I was already in my 30s by the time I decided this was the route I was going to take. But I had little experience. Thought I better, expand my CV.
Yeah.
Extra. If I'd realised then how much CO2 I was producing and all this flying, I might have thought twice. As so-called environmentalist, what a hypocrite! But it was really good fun.
Good. So that's like that adds to the feel free moment, but also to the informal music education, right? All over the world. That's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Brilliant,
So
Steve. I'm
yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry we have to finish. So it feels like there's so much more. As I said, maybe
There
we
is, yeah, but
maybe we
this
have a
is
part two sometime.
well, I'm sure there are a lot of other community musicians out there who would be very grateful for this opportunity. Thanks.
No, that's amazing. Thank you very much. And yeah, looking forward to seeing more of your work soon, hopefully.
Yes, I must expand my profile on Soundcastle. I've been a bit lazy there. I think
No,
I'll
that's
push
good.
that out.
Well, anyway, thank you so much, Steve.
Thank you.
See you another time. Cheers.
Cheers.